Right. So what we have discussed in the previous session about the agile one, like agile planning process, it's so followed by the importance of product owner, release planning, right? So all these we did in the last session. So even apart from that, we have created even a project as well. I think loan management system is what we have created in the last session, right? So being a business analyst turned product owner, how to write epics and user stories is what we need to learn. So, as yesterday I mentioned you, epic nothing but large scale of solution. This is what generally we call it as epic. And whatever the functionalities are required for that particular epic to be completed, those we call it as user stories. Now, if you take loan management system as an example, first of all, we need to identify what are all the epics. Let me write down on the Word document first, then we will do it here. Okay, right. So first of all, I'm writing epics, right? So epics, large scale of solution for the application called loan management. What are the epics first? First of all, epic one. Loan management system. Customer wants to see the status of loan application. Okay. Status of loan application is what the large scale of solution. Okay. First point. Epic 2. Track the list of loan applications within particular date or something like, okay, that is the second thing. Next, epic 3. One is status of loan application. Second, tracking the list of loan applications. List of issuance. List of issuance of loans. It can be a particular, this thing, okay. List of issuance of loans. Next, epic 4. Classification. Loans. Right. So issuance means disbursement, right? So classification of loans, right? So these are the large scale of solutions. Means if you have taken loan management system as an example, customer wants to see the status of loan application, right? So that is one thing. This is the solution, right? So customer want to see. This is from the customer end. So whenever we try to understand any application, first of all, you have to understand the people who are going to use this application, users, irrespective of the number, right? So users, I'm talking about users, uh, it can be anyone, but role specific, right? So customer is one user. As I have shown you in the use case diagram earlier, right? So next, loan manager can be one user. right? So like this, whoever is going to use the application, those people are called as users or beneficiaries. So what will be the EPIC first? Status of the loan application, which customer want to see all the time. So this is itself is a large scale of solution, loan application. Second, tracking the list of loan applications by a backend team, right? So it can be required for a backend team. They want to track the list of loan applications. This is the second one. Next, issuance of loans, like how many loans were issued so far on a particular timeline, time period. That might be the third one. Next, classification of loans, like what are the different loans do we have? That classification we want. So this is one more, right? So classification of loans. So these are the EPICS, which normally we call it as large scale of solutions. But if this EPIC is to successfully complete it, we have to develop some functionalities for that. Okay, for example, if we want to see the status of loan application, okay, for example, if this is the case, application submission is required. Am I right? Application submission is required. Point number one. Okay, this is needed. Next, registration process must be done, and sign up process or something. Sign up for registration. Okay, that is required. Now, to track the loan applications, you may require loan type, right? We need to know the type of loan. Issuance of loans. Again, type of loan is applicable here. As in when we are writing there, I am not writing here. Okay. Issuance of loans. Date of disbursal. These are the functionalities, right? So date of disbursal of loan. Okay. Loan. Next, classification of loans, where type of loans. This we will write it as a user story as separate. Okay, I will show you. Next, tracking the list of applications, loan type. Next is we required some. It's not dashboard. Dashboard for everything, tracking and all everything. I can say dashboard creation. So this dashboard creation is applicable and useful everywhere. Okay, because even if you want to track the loan applications, dashboard, in the dashboard itself, you can see an option. If you want to see an issuance of loans also, dashboard, in the dashboard itself, you can create multiple things, right? So dashboard creation is also one of the case. Next was status. To track it between the dates. Okay, for a particular period, it is not required. Dashboard creation is one thing. Report generation. Okay. Reports, for example. These reports, again, applicable for anything. Okay. Reports, for example. Okay. Next type of loans classifications and EPIC and all, right? Now, these are the functionalities, right? So, for example, if this is a large scale of solution wherein status of loan application a customer wants to see, first of all, they have to submit the loan application, right? So unless until they don't submit the loan application, it won't happen. Okay, that is required. At the same time, tracking the list of loan applications, right? So if we want to track the loan applications and all, we must be knowing about what type of loan it was. So if you have created a dashboard so that you can see the tracking process, all that. Even list of issuance also the same, followed by classification of loans. I'm just giving you nothing because there can be many, but as an example, I'm taking this so that how to prepare and all, if you know, that is enough. The reason I'm taking this. Okay, now assume that these are the EPICS. Status of loan application is in EPIC. Here you can see there is an option, right, called EPIC, right? Status of loan application. Okay, being a product owner, or a business analyst come product owner, you have decided. Okay. Next, tracking the list of loan applications. Next, list of issuance of loans. Next, classification of loan. Okay. Next, status of loan application. So if this is required, one more thing we need is underwriting. Underwriting is needed. Okay, this is also interconnected here. Underwriting process. Okay, whether it can be rejected or okay. Now these are the epics. So what we have to do now, we have to write user stories for these things. Okay, application submission. So when you want to write a user story, there is a template which normally we follow. Template to write user story as follows. There is a template. Okay, whenever we want to write a user story, there is a template. What was that? As a system user, action, result. Okay, this is how generally the user story means. This is the template which normally we follow whenever we are going to write a user story for a particular functionality. It can be of anything. User can be anyone, right? So whoever is using that particular functionality is called user. So a number of people, role can be anyone. So as a system user, action followed by result. Now here the first one is application loan submission. Okay. User story. One. Application submission. Okay. As a user, I want you to create a submission portal so that I can submit the loan application. Next, registration and sign up. As a user. So let us classify this into three parts, first of all, right? As a user, system user. Action. What is an action here? Creating a submission of loan portal is an action. What is the result here? So that I can submit the loan application is the result. Understood? Everybody are following or not? Geeta, Lakshmi, Sirisha.
Yes. Yes, following.
Right? So we have to classify the user's functionality into three different parts. User, what result user want? If user wants this result to be done, what must be the action has to be performed in between. So how to do this action and all everything, development will take care of it, right? So creation of submission, right? How to create the submission portal, what are all the fields required, that everything will be taken care of by the development team. Development they takes care of. But being an epic, being a product owner or a business analyst, we are writing it and we are giving. Okay. Next, registration process or a sign up. As a user, I want you to create an option for sign up so that I can register myself. So you don't need to write documentation, etc., etc. Okay. So simply you can write this as a user. I want you to set underwriting procedure, because if you want to conduct underwriting this thing and all, there must be a procedure, business rules. Based on the business rules, we have to set the procedure in the system. Then only system will follow all that, right? So set underwriting procedure so that process will continue whenever the loan application submitted. Okay. Next, loan type. So, for example, some functionalities, whatever we are writing, these functionalities are useful for other epics also. Right? For example, login process. Login process is same for everyone. Right? So, login process, it can be a customer, it can be anyone. Login process remains same. Okay, process never changes, right? So that can be useful for other people also. That's how it is. Right? As a loan type, list of loan applications. First of all, loan type is required. So this is for admin, for example. Admin, for example, right? Admin backend team or admin, whoever they are. As the admin, I want to have an option. I want to have an option to mention between dates so that I can track the application. Application or applications. Okay, application or applications. Dashboard creation. As a backend team, we want you to create a dashboard so that we can see whatever are required during or after submission of loan applications. Okay, dispersal of loan, right? So as a user can be anyone, okay? It can be anyone, right? So whoever wants to see, right? So disbursal and loan issuance, loan of disbursal. As a user, I want you to provide an option of dates, option of uh, date entry. Date entry option must be there, right? So that we can see date entry, so that we can see how many disbursal happen on that date, right? So it can be on a particular date, or it can be between this week, right? So that also can be done. Okay, that is the part. Next, as a user, I want you to create a report generation. I want you to create report option, so that we can generate as multiple reports, different type of reports accordingly, right? So accordingly. Next type of loans. As a user, I want you to mention options. Options of loan types. Okay, options of loan types. Option of loan types, so that I can select whatever is needed. Okay. So you have to dissect these into three different parts, as I told you, right? So first one. This is the first user story, which is part of status of loan application. Here you can see there is an option called plus. Click this. See this green color one, you can call it as user story. If you want to write user story, you have to use green. Otherwise, we have bug and task that is not required and relevant now. You can directly write here, but as in when this is the first time, you may feel confused when I do it directly. So that I'm just writing on the Word document and I'm just copying it. Otherwise, you can directly write here, not an issue. But to make you to understand, I'm writing here and I'm copying, right? So here you can see there is an option called plus. Can you see this, right? So plus. So if you can click on plus, as usually you can get whatever you want, right? So you can get all that, right? So this is required. First one. Second epic. Next, epic 3. Next one is reports here. Loan 4. So irrespective of EPICS, so these are the user stories. So for example, if you are a product owner or a business analyst, you want to classify, you want to show, you want to visualize what is that you require, right? So on a high level note, as well as a detailed note. So these are the user stories, and this is how generally this dashboard, normally this we can use it as a timeline, we can call it as, right? So or else roadmap. Sometimes we call it as roadmap also, or timeline, whatever it is, right? So this visualization is what we need to do. So once we have written, what will happen, whatever the user stories you have written, all these you can see in the backlog. So writing the user stories, updating it in the timeline, and so that you can see all these in the backlog items, this is a continuous process. So as of now, we have written this. For example, we have created first sprint, right? For example, for this 7, 8, 9 is required. Let's say we have moved this 7, 8, 9 into the top position, and we can simply move into this first sprint. So whenever we have moved, what will happen? Here 8 minus 3, 5. Right. So for example, tomorrow, few more user stories were written. So whatever is written in the timeline, automatically those will be added again into the backlog. For example, 4 we have written more. 5 plus 4, 9. Understood, everyone? Understood or not? Geeta, Kiran,
Can
Lakshmi.
you say that again, please?
What I'm saying is, so here you have written the user stories and EPICS. And whatever the user stories we have written, everything will be there in the backlog. Okay. So these 8, as of now, 8 user stories. It can be added also in future. Depends on the requirement. Multiple user stories will be written by the product owner. And those user stories will be added into this backlog. From this backlog, whatever the priority items, as far as the priorities is concerned, for example, in the first sprint, I want, as far as the goal is concerned, I want maybe 7, 8, 9, or as for example, 6, 7, 9, right? So these are the 3 user stories are relevant. What we can do, simply, we can move these to the first epic. You can move this into the first epic. For example, 6, we are moving 6. At the same time, 9 even, right? So if you want to move 9, so 6, 9, for example, 11. Okay, for example. So team will decide all this, right? So which user stories we want to move, right? So this is first sprint planning. As per the requirement of first sprint, these are the 3 items required. So here these 3 user stories I have taken. So 3 user stories, 5 is remaining. Again, couple of user stories might be added by the business analyst later in the timeline. So whatever was updated, everything will be comes and added into the backlog. So again, this backlog, from this backlog, we go to the next sprint. So sprint here started, sprint planning. For example, this is 2-week sprint, right? So 2-week sprint. Dates has to be mentioned. What must be the goal of the particular sprint to be achieved has to be decided. And development team will take care of the development accordingly. So that takes care of the development team, not relating to the product owner or a business analyst. But being a business analyst, our responsibility is to see, to write epics and user stories and tell them what are our priority items for that particular epic user for the particular sprint or etc. And what must be the release date, what is that we are planning. That is what generally we have to do. So here we can give, right? So for example, release, we can go to release, create a version, right? Release 1. For example, today date is 9th November 2023. From now onwards to 1 month, for example, 1 month date. Okay, 1 month. So description and save. So in this 1 month, whatever is required, so that will be developed. 1 month means we have 30 days. 30 days means 4 weeks. In these 4 weeks, whatever the priority items, And which one is possible, that everything will be taken care of by the development team. Development team responsibility is that what is to develop, etc., etc. Understood? Geeta, Kiran, Lakshmi, Sirisha.
Yes, understood.
So this is how generally, in spite of writing documentation as part of the role of a BA in the traditional practices, what we can do is simply we can write down these user stories so that you don't need to prepare documents, etc., all that, right? So you don't need it. Simply you whatever is required and whatever the functionalities you want a development team to develop, just write down user story format. In a user story format, I want so and so this, right? So this user story, as I want you to create a submission portal. So how to create this submission portal, what are all the fields and all of the things, development teams take care of. If you want to update, you can update here, right? So this must be, fields must be this, etc., etc. If there is any additional information, you can write down here. This is where generally we call it as this one called acceptance criteria. You can write down here. You can write down the acceptance criteria over here. So these many fields required for submission portal. Any additional information you want to give, you can give. Or else what can we do? For example, for submission portal, there is some sample application, sample page given by the customer. So what we can do, simply we can put some attachment. Let's say, for example, this is the one is required. For example, right? So let's say this is the sample one. This is for understanding. By just going through this sample one, what they do, by just going through this sample one, for example, this is the thing. Sample one, these are the sample ones relating to this particular user story. So development team will see this and they will do it accordingly. Clear? This is all about this session today. I hope you got the point. Clear?
Yes. What if the release is not ready? Is there who is supposed to communicate that, or
Release planning we did. That's it.
okay, okay.
We
So
do
what
the
happens? Okay.
release date will plan. Responsibility is the team.
What if
Team has to
it's not
execute.
ready on the release date?
Release date, within release date, release has to be completed. That is responsibility of the team and Scrum Master.
Okay, no, but in case it gets delayed, whose responsibility
They have to
is
taken care of. They have to taken care of.
okay to come?
They have to be taken